Now, the greatest radio shows of all time.
Suspense.
The Shadow Node.
Washington calling David Harding, Counter Spy.
Classic radio theater.
The Great Gildersleeve.
Fibber McGee and Molly.
Dragnet.
Gunsmoke.
The Lone Ranger.
Now, step back into a time machine with your host, Wyatt Cox.
Good evening, friends of the Inner Sanctum.
A Wednesday full of westerns here on the podcast with an episode of Gunsmoke, Have Gun Will Travel, Frontier Town, Hawk Larrabee, starring Martin Yarborough, and Lum and Abner. That's all straight ahead here on this Wednesday, 22nd day of May, 143rd day of the year, 223 days remaining. The first life insurance policy issued in Philadelphia on this date in 1761. Abraham Lincoln received a patent on this date in 1849 for his floating dry dock. An earthquake near Xinjiang, China on this date in 1927 measured 8.3, claimed about 200,000 victims. 1947 on this date, Harry Truman's doctrine brought aid to Greece and Turkey to combat the spread of communism.
I therefore ask the Congress to provide authority for assistance to Greece and Turkey in the amount of $400 million for the period ending June 30th, 1948. The seeds of totalitarian regimes are nurtured by misery and want. They spread and grow in the evil soil of poverty and strife. They reach their full growth when the hope of a people for a better life has died. We must keep that hope alive. The free peoples of the world look to us for support in maintaining their freedoms. If we falter in our leadership, we may endanger the peace of the world, and we shall surely endanger the welfare of this nation.
Congress gave President Truman that $400 million in aid. Today, that amount would be approximately $5.6 billion. Increased American aid helped defeat the Greek Communist Party after interim defeats for government forces from 1946 to 1948. In 1964, President Johnson announced the goals of his Great Society social reforms to bring an end to poverty and racial injustice in America.
We have the opportunity to move not only toward the rich society and the powerful society, but upward to the great society. The great society rests on abundance and liberty for all. It demands an end to poverty and racial injustice, to which we're totally committed in our time.
Johnson would win a decisive victory over his conservative Republican opponent Barry Goldwater of Arizona in that 1964 election. American liberalism at a high tide under President Johnson. 1972, President Nixon arrived in Moscow, becoming the first president of the U.S. to visit the Soviet Union. In 1972, Ceylon became Sri Lanka. In 1977, Janet Guthrie became the first woman to qualify for the Indianapolis 500.
I'd like to thank my folks for bringing me up, not to think that women can't do this and that because they're women. I'd like to thank all the many, many good people who have given me so much help all these years, because no racing driver ever does it alone.
Guthrie's average speed of 188.403 miles per hour qualified her. Due to engine problems, she'd finish 49th. The next year, she would finish 9th. Guthrie also competed in NASCAR, finishing 15th in the 1975 World 600, what's now the Coca-Cola 600, and 12th in the 1977 Daytona 500, when her car blew 2 cylinders with just 10 laps to go. In 1980, President Carter visited the area of the Mount St. Helens volcanic eruption and was, as many others had been, stunned by the devastation.
I've never seen or heard of anything like this before. Somebody said it looked like a moonscape, but the moon looks like a golf course compared to what's up there. And it is a horrible-looking sight. The mountains are just completely devastated. You can't see where the ground even was formerly.
Approximately 57 people were killed directly, including innkeeper Harry R. Truman, photographer Reed Blackburn, and geologist David A. Johnson. Hundreds of square miles reduced to wasteland, causing over $1 billion in damage in 1980, roughly $3.6 billion today. Thousands of game animals killed, and Mount St. Helens left with a crater on its north side. And it was on this date in 1992, Johnny Carson hosted the last episode of his Tonight Show.
It has been an honor and a privilege to come into your homes all these years and entertain you. And I hope when I find something that I want to do and I think you will like and come back, that you'll be as gracious inviting me into your home as you have been. I bid you a very heartfelt good night.
Nothing ill to say about Steve Allen, Jack Parr, Jay Leno, nobody who has done The Tonight Show, Jimmy Fallon. The Tonight Show that Johnny Carson did was The Tonight Show. 2002, The Tonight Show starring Johnny Carson ranked number 12 on TV Guide's 50 greatest TV shows of all time. I think that's low. In 2013, it was number 22 on their list of 60 best series. Again, I think that's a little low. But The Tonight Show, one of a kind, set precedents, set bars that will never, ever be topped. 2002, a jury in Birmingham, Alabama, convicted former Ku Klux Klan member Bobby Frank Cherry of the 1963 murder of 4 girls in the 16th Street Baptist Church bombing. 2003, the UN Security Council approved a resolution lifting the economic sanctions against Iraq and supporting the U.S.-led administration in Iraq. The U.S. town of Hallam, Nebraska, wiped out on this date in 2004 by a powerful F4 tornado that broke a width record, 2.5 miles wide. 1 local resident killed. 7 years later, 2011, an EF5 tornado struck Joplin. 158 people killed, $2.8 billion in damages, $3.8 billion in dollars today, the costliest and 7th deadliest single tornado in U.S. history. 2017, 22 people killed at an Ariana Grande concert in the 2007 Manchester area bombing. And it was on that same date in 2017, President Trump visited the Church of the Holy Sepulchre in Jerusalem, becoming the first sitting U.S. president to visit the Western Wall. Passing on this date in history, Joan Davis. I married Jones in the Joan Davis Show on radio. She died of a heart attack at the age of 53. Martin Gable, the husband of Arlene Francis. On a note of triumph, as we aired not long ago, he passed away at the age of 63. Boxer Rocky Graziano died of heart failure at 71, which is hard because he had such a huge heart. Thurl Ravenscroft. You knew him as Tony the Tiger and the man who sang "You're a Mean One, Mr. Grinch." He died at the age of 91 on this date in history. Among those still those who are born on this date in history, the greatest announcer in game show history, Johnny Olson.
Come on down! You are the first 4 contestants on The Prize is Right. And now, here's the star of The Prize is Right, Bob Barker.
Johnny Olson one night was a mystery guest on What's My Line. He was announcing the show as well. And I think John Daly paid him the greatest compliment an announcer could ever have, because he said, we have the greatest head start when the show starts. Johnny Olson was a wonderful entertainer, and if you see that episode, it's available on YouTube. But if you see that episode of What's My Line, I encourage you, go look at it and laugh and realize that he stumped the panel. He stumped the panel, and he's there every week, and they couldn't figure out who he was. Johnny Olson, born on May 22nd, 1910, also born on this date. One of the Ritz brothers, Harry Ritz, born on this date. He was in the movie Silent Movie. Sir Laurence Olivier, Rebecca Hamlet, the jazz singer, wonderful entertainer. Quinn Martin Productions. Those shows were on television for decades. He did so many different great shows. Oil magnate entrepreneur T. Boone Pickens, born on this date in history. And rocker Kenny Ball, born on this date.
1962.
I'm going to butcher this name. I apologize. An adaptation of the Vasily Solyov-Seddoy, Mikhail Machovsky song Moscow Nights, adapted into Midnight in Moscow. And I have to tell you, Kenny Ball did a great job of it. Can I tell you? Kenny Ball, by the way, born on this date in history. Can I tell you that I use a version of Moscow Nights that was recorded for Radio Moscow. I use that because it's such a wonderful piece of music. Doesn't matter that it's Russian, it matters that it's good. Okay, other things that took place on this date in history. Others that were born on May 22nd include Susan Strasberg, in praise of older women, Manitou. Susan Strasberg, born on this date. You remember him in Seduction and They Shoot Horses, don't they? Michael Saracen, born on this date. TV Guide movie critic Judith Crist, born on this date. Oh, from Room 222, Don't Drink the Water, My Big Fat Greek Wedding, Michael Constantine, born on this date in history. CNN News correspondent Bernard Shaw, born on this date. And gosh, he just passed this last year at the age of 89. Wonderful composer, conductor, pianist, Peter Nero.
1971.
The theme from the motion picture, Summer of 42. Yes, Peter Nero. Wonderful conductor, pianist, Peter Nero. Born on this date, we lost him last year. 89. Natural causes. When you're 89 and you have the musical career Peter Nero did, you deserve it to go out on your own terms.
Hi, this is Jeff Foxworthy. It is now time for the birthday announcements. The following people are now officially older than dirt.
I'm talking too much again. Sorry about that. You remember this gentleman from Goodbye Columbus and the TV show? I think it was only a one-season show. He and She, with his wife Paula Prentice. Richard Benjamin, 86 today. Still married. Wonderful. Bernie Taupin, the lyricist who works with Elton John. Bernie Taupin, 74 today. The model, actress, cool as ice, unzipped, Naomi Campbell, 54. The daughter of Clint Eastwood, actress Allison Grigg Eastwood. She was in Tightrope, 52 today. Snow White in ABC's Once Upon a Time, Jennifer Goodwin, is 46. From Nikita, Divergent, and Designated Survivor, Maggie Q, 45. Formerly of the WWE and Ring of Honor, and now with All Elite Wrestling, Bryan Danielson. He was Daniel Bryan in the WWE. Bryan Danielson, 43, and the proud papa says he wants to retire from wrestling and spend time with his daughter. I think that's extra special. And from Manchester by the Sea and Superior Donuts, Anna Baryshnikov, 32 years old, and turning 65 years old today, Stephen Patrick Morrissey.
As I live and breathe, you have killed me, you have killed me. Yes, I walk around somehow, but you have killed me, you have killed me.
He was with the Smiths before he stepped on his own as a solo artist. Stephen Patrick, known as Morrissey, by his last name, as a rocker, 65 years old today. Those just a few of the people who celebrate the 22nd day of May as their birthday. And if this is your birthday...
Hi, we're the Four Freshmen, and we just want to say... Happy birthday to you.
And we head west of the Mississippi for much of this edition of Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. We start off in Dodge City, Kansas for an episode of Gunsmoke. That's coming up next. Thank you so much for joining me.
America's Protestants, Catholics, and Jews are strengthening the bonds of brotherhood and friendship by helping the needy overseas. Through their houses of worship, these three faiths are sending voluntary relief to virtually every free country in the world. Hundreds of millions of pounds of goods, clothing, and medicine will go to victims of war, disaster, and famine in many parts of the world. More than 80% of American voluntary relief work for the hungry and needy overseas is conducted through the religious agencies of these three major faith groups. When you share with needy persons overseas through your house of worship, you are promoting the spirit of democracy that unites all peoples for peace and goodwill. You are keeping faith with the finest tradition and heritage of America. CBS Radio urges you to keep faith with those in need overseas by giving as much as you can through your faith.
The good churches have always worked hard through faith to keep people going. And that's important. Let's go back 70 years now on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox to May 22nd, 1954. William Conrad as Marshal Matt Dillon in Gunsmoke, this edition entitled Monopoly.
Around Dodge City and in the territory on West, there's just one way to handle the killers and the spoilers, and that's with a U.S. Marshal and the smell of gun smoke. Gunsmoke, starring William Conrad. The transcribed story of the violence that moved west with young America. The story of a man who moved with it. Matt Dillon, United States Marshal.
Good morning, Chester.
Morning, Mr. Dillon.
Is the prisoner awake yet?
Yes, sir, he's awake, but he's sort of wishing he wasn't.
No?
Not after last night. I never saw Bob Adams that drunk before. I gave him some coffee a little while ago, and you know what, Mr. Dillon? He wouldn't drink it before he poured about a spoonful of tobacco in it.
That's mule skinner style, Chester.
My.
Bring him out here, huh?
Yes, sir. Come on out into the sun, Adam. It's time to own up to your dark and evil ways.
Well, I sure must have been drunk if I let you throw me in jail, Chester.
I didn't throw you in jail. He did. But I could have.
Well, howdy, Marshal Dillon. I thought you was out of town.
Well, I got back late last night, Adams. Just in time to stop you from blowing the roof off the Oliver again.
Oh, well, I don't even remember. Oh.
There's your gun.
You turning me loose?
You didn't commit any crimes. You were just getting worked up to something.
Oh, well, thanks for stopping me, Marshal. I guess I was a little wild. Too much to celebrate, that's what.
Oh, what were you celebrating anyway?
Well, selling out.
Selling out?
Yeah.
You mean you sold your freight business?
Both wagons and all my mules, the whole caboodle. Yes, sir, I sold out just like everybody else.
What?
It happened while you was away, Mr. Dillon. Every freighter in town has sold his outfit to a man called Ivy from St. Louis.
We all got a good price for him, too. More than he was worth.
Well, what's this Ivy going into the freighting business so heavy for?
Says he wants to invest all his money in one business, not scattered around.
Well, what are you and the other men going to do now that he's bought you out?
Oh, we'll blow our money for a while and then probably go to work for Ivy. You know how it is.
Only man who hasn't sold out is Joe Trimble. And that's just because he won't get back to town till today sometime.
There's nothing wrong with Ivy, Marshal. He's as nice a fellow as you ever met.
But I don't much like that man he has following him around all the time.
Cam Spiegel. No, I don't like him neither.
Did you say Cam Spiegel?
That's right.
Where are they staying?
At the Dodge House? Why, Marshal, what's wrong?
I don't know, Adams. But if this Ivy has Cam Spiegel with him, there's plenty wrong. Your name, Ivy?
Oh, yes, it is. What can I do for you?
I'm Matt Dillon, Ivy. I'd like to talk to you.
Oh, you're the U.S. Marshal here.
That's right.
Well, come in, Marshal, come in. I've been wanting to meet you. Well, Marshal, Dodge acquired a new citizen while you were away.
Yeah.
I've set myself up in the freighting business. And as soon as I buy out Joe Trimble, I'll start running it.
Well, that's fine, Ivy. But there isn't much money in freighting. None of these men you bought out are exactly rich.
It's like any other business, Marshal. It depends on how it's run.
Ah. You've had a lot of experience hauling freight, huh?
None at all, but I hope to learn. Of course, I'll just manage the business, you understand?
Uh-huh. Ivy, I'm curious about two things.
Tell you anything you want to know, Marshal. I realize my methods are a little unusual.
Like paying these men more than their outfits are worth?
Oh, I did that just to be sure nobody could say I'm unfair. And also because I don't want to be bothered with any competition once I get started. What was the other question, Marshal?
Cam Spiegel.
Cam. Yeah. Oh, well, he works for me.
Most businessmen don't need a man like Cam around.
Well, I agree, Marshal. But you see, I brought a lot of money with me from St. Louis, and I hired Cam for protection, you might say. Oh, here he is now. Cam, this is Marshal Dillon.
Really is, ain't it?
Oh, you know him?
Me and the Marshal have known each other a long time, Ivy. Fact is, he run me out of Amarillo once. Ain't that right, Marshal?
You give me the same reasons and I'll run you out of Dodge, Cam.
Maybe I don't run so easy as I did then.
Oh, come now, gentlemen. I'm sure there won't be any trouble. Marshal, Cam's hired as my bodyguard. And if he goes beyond that, I'll fire him.
Might be too late by then, Ivy. But he can stay around. Both of you can. Till I find out what you're up to. Yeah, what is it, Chester?
Joe Trimble just pulled into town. He's with his wagons outside here. He'd like to talk to you.
Oh, okay. Hello, Trimble.
Marshal, I couldn't leave my mules out here. I'd have come inside.
Oh, that's all right. What's the trouble?
Nothing with me, but Jim Honecker down at the Sand Creek stage station said to tell you there's been too much engine sign around for comfort the last few days.
He wants me to pass the word on to the Army, huh?
Yeah.
Chester, will you ride out to Fort Dodge and tell Major Honeyman?
Yes, sir. I'll get started right away.
I didn't see no engine sign, Marshal. I think Jim's getting a mite spooky living out there alone so much.
I thought he had someone with him now.
Fella couldn't stand it. He run off.
Oh, hello, Marshal. Oh, Chester told me this is Joe Trimble.
It is.
Well, Trimble, I've been waiting for you. My name's Ivy.
How do you do?
And this is Cam Spiegel.
How do you do? Hello?
Trimble, I understand you own 3 freight wagons and a dozen mules.
That's right.
Well, I've bought out every other freighter in Dodge, and I'm prepared to give you $1,000 in cash for your outfit.
Is that true?
Ask the marshal here.
Yeah, they've all sold, Trimble. He's offered them too much money to resist, I guess.
Well, I ain't selling. I've been freighting over that trail for 10 years, and I ain't quitting now.
All right, I'll give you $1,500, Trimble.
I don't understand you, Ivy. You bought out everybody else. What do you need my outfit for? Ain't you got enough now?
Yeah, it's my way of doing business, Trimble. You accept the offer?
Ivy, I got a little house at the edge of town. My wife's waiting for me there right now. Ain't much, but I built it out of the money I made hauling goods up and down the trail. Maybe someday I'll build me a better one. If I sell out to you, I won't have nothing after a year or so, and I ain't gonna do it.
Well, perhaps this has been too sudden for you, Trimble. Why don't you think it over first and then let me know?
I'm letting you know right now.
You're kind of stubborn, ain't you, Mule Skinner?
That's right, I am.
That's enough, Cam. Well, you're the only competition I'll have, Trimble, but I'm sure we'll get along fine.
There's plenty of business, Ivy.
Of course. But anyway, if you change your mind, you just let me know.
Sure.
Good day, gentlemen. Come along, Cam.
If Ivy ain't handy when you change your mind, Trimble, you can always let me know.
Now, what's he mean by that, Marshal?
I don't know, Trimble. But we'll find out soon enough. Chester, what are you doing? What is all this?
Curtains, Mr. Dillon.
Curtains? Well, what for?
Well, sir, a girl I know got some new ones, and she gave me these, and I thought nailing them up would make this place a little more inviting, if you know what I mean.
A jail inviting?
Oh, well, Mr. Dillon, I don't aim to hang none in the
I
cell.
don't aim for you to hang them anywhere. Now pull them down and throw them out.
Yes, sir. But that little girl's sure going to be mighty disappointed.
She threw them out herself, didn't she? Thrilled.
Marshal? Oh, hello, Chester.
Hello, Trimble. You want to buy some...
Chester.
Marshal, you know what that man Ivy's done now?
What, Trimble?
Well, you remember yesterday how he tried to buy me out, and I couldn't understand why he needed every last freight outfit in Dodge?
You know now, huh?
I sure do. Marshal, just this morning, Ivy's doubled the usual prices for freighting.
Doubled?
That's what he did. Every merchant in town's hopping mad about it, too. They all come to me and want me to do all their freighting, but of course I can't. Not with only 3 wagons.
Yeah. So that's Ivy's way of running a business right.
He come to see me, too.
Well, what do you want?
He said if I doubled my prices, too, then everything would be fine. But if I didn't, it'd be unfair competition for him.
You gonna do it?
Of course I ain't. I'm an honest man, Marshal.
Then you're in trouble. Bad trouble.
What for?
When are you making your next trip, Trimble?
Oh, we're getting loaded now. I'm leaving for Sand Creek in the morning.
I think I'll kind of ride along with you, Trimble. But don't say anything to anybody about it, huh?
Oh. Oh, it's that other fella, ain't it? That Cam Spiegel.
That's what Ivy hired him for, Trimble, in case he ran into somebody stubborn. Like you.
We will return for the second act of Gunsmoke in just a moment. But first, tomorrow night, CBS Radio's Gene Autry saves a father from a lifetime of regret when the parent launches a campaign to make his son prove himself a he-man. Riding an outlaw bronco is part of the curriculum that worries Gene so much. Don't miss the Western adventures and Western songs of CBS Radio's Gene Autry Show tomorrow evening on most of these stations. Now the second act of Gunsmoke.
It wouldn't be much trouble to hide out with a rifle somewhere along the trail and shoot a teamster off his wagon. And since it was so easy, I figured that was how Ivy would tell Cam Spiegel to get Trimble out of the way. So I took my horse and went along on the trip to Sand Creek. As it turned out, I might as well have stayed in Dodge. In fact, it'd have been better if I had. We made Sand Creek all right, and a few days later, early one morning, we were almost back to Dodge when we saw Chester riding out of town to meet us.
He's riding like a big wind, Marshal.
Any time his horse isn't walking slow, Chester's in a real hurry, Trimble.
Chester ain't exactly all engine, is he?
Oh, but he can surprise you sometime.
I know. I've seen him. Well, let's pull up here. Oh, there. Oh.
Oh. I was hoping I'd find you close by.
Is there anything wrong, Chester?
Yes, sir, there sure is. We had a fire in Dodge early this morning.
What?
Fire? Where? What burned?
Trimble, I sure hate to tell you, but it was your house.
Was it bad, Chester?
Plumb to the ground.
My wife.
Well, Doc's out there with her now. She was still alive when I left.
Oh.
Give Trimble your horse, Chester. You can drive the wagon on in from here.
Yes, sir. That's why I come to meet you. Here, Trimble.
Thank you, Chester.
Any idea how it happened, Chester?
No, sir. Nobody has.
All right, we'll see you in Dodge. Let's go, Trimble.
Doc? Is that her, Doc?
I just now covered her up, Trimble.
She's dead.
I did everything I could.
Sure. Sure, of course you did, Doc.
I don't know how she lived as long as she did. They weren't able to get her out soon enough, Trimble, but she was so far gone when they did. Well, she didn't suffer much. You can be sure of that.
She must have been awful scared, though.
Now, you leave her to me now, Trimble. I'll take care of her and let you know when you can come and get her.
She was asleep when it happened, or she'd have had no trouble getting out.
Yeah, she was asleep, yeah.
And how'd the fire get started? She couldn't have spilled nothing.
Well, I don't know, Trimble. Nobody does.
Doc, who saw the fire first?
Oh, some cowboy, Matt. They say he rounded up a few men from out of the oasis, but there was nothing they could do. He didn't know there was anybody inside the house.
Trimble.
You out here too, Ivy?
I came as soon as I heard about it. In fact, I was at the Oasis when that rider reported it. The other men can tell you.
Okay, what do I care?
You have my deepest sympathy, Trimble. Now, if there's anything I can do...
No. No, nothing.
You can do something for me, Ivy.
For you, Marshal?
Yeah. Where's Cam?
Why, he's right over there.
Call him.
Well, all right. Oh, Cam. Cam.
What do you want, Ivy?
Nothing, but Marshal Dillon seems to.
He does, huh?
Where were you when you heard about the fire, Cam?
I was in bed, Marshal.
Who woke you up?
Nobody. I heard people shouting. I got up.
Anybody see you?
I don't know. Why should they?
Ivy.
Yes, Marshal.
You still want to buy Trimble's outfit? He might sell. No.
Why, of course I do. But I'll only give you $1,000, Trimble. You've waited too long.
I didn't say I'd sell you nothing. What makes you think I would?
Wait a minute, Trimble. Ivy, you got a good alibi. I'm sure of that. I won't even bother to check on it. But you don't seem to have one, Cam.
Now, wait a minute, Marshal. You're going too far if you're suggesting that either one of us had anything to do with this. I won't stand...
Shut up, Ivy. Now, how about it, Cam?
You know you don't scare me none, Marshal.
I can't prove you had anything to do with this, Cam.
No, you can't.
But you'll have to prove you didn't. And you'll have to prove it by someone reliable. I'll give you till noon.
What happens at noon, Marshal?
You leave town.
Oh, now, aren't you being a little high-handed, Marshal?
Call it
Dillon?
what you want, Ivy. But he still has till noon.
Matt?
Yeah, what is it, Kitty?
Matt, look at this.
What? $300.
Uh-huh.
What's this for?
I want you to take it and give it to Cam Spiegel.
Cam?
I got it from him. Along with a hint that if I didn't take it, I'd end up in a ditch with a bullet in my head.
Oh. You were supposed to be with Cam last night, is that it?
That's it. And the idea is that if I alibi for him, you'd believe it.
Oh, Cam's right, Kitty. I would.
It's up to you how you get the money back to him, Matt. But couldn't you stuff it into a shotgun and give it to him that way?
I've often said it's a good thing you're not a man, Kitty.
If I were, I probably wouldn't be any better than the rest of you.
Well, it's almost noon.
Matt,
Yeah.
I'll buy you a drink after.
How can you? You just threw away $300.
Matt.
Mr. Dillon?
Did you see it, Chester?
Right in the Longhorn there. Trimble come in, tried to shoot Cam Spiegel, and Cam killed him. Trimble drew first, Mr. Dillon, but he just wasn't fast enough.
Get out of the way, Chester.
Yes, sir.
Tried to kill me, Marshal. For self-defense, he drew first.
Cam, I've changed my mind about your leaving town.
What?
You're going to jail instead.
Jail? Everybody here's a witness to this, Marshal.
I'm talking about Trimble's wife. I haven't got enough evidence to hang you, but you'll spend a long time in prison. Now turn around while I take your guns.
Told you before, Marshal, I don't scare so easy as I once did.
You're under arrest, Cam.
No. Not yet, I ain't.
All right, quiet, everybody. I said quiet, everybody. Ivy, come over here.
That was mighty fast, Marshal. But he had it coming. He shouldn't have tried to draw on you.
Trimble's dead, too, Ivy.
Trimble tried to kill him, Marshal. You know that.
I guess Trimble figured he had a pretty good reason.
That may be. But you can't prove I had anything to do with it.
If I could, I'd throw you in jail. But I'm not even going to run you out of town. Okay?
Certainly no reason to. I'll see you later, Marshal.
Just a minute, Ivy. Here. Here's $300 Cam gave to Kitty to alibi for him. Somehow she didn't want to do it.
I don't know anything about it. Why, give it to me.
Take it, Ivy. It was your money in the first place. Cam was just working for you.
I won't stand for this, Marshal. You have no right.
You know, the Trimbles were pretty well liked around here, Ivy. You just might get out of town alive. If you hurry.
Gunsmoke, transcribed under the direction of Norman MacDonald, stars William Conrad as Matt Dillon, U.S. Marshal. Tonight's story was specially written for Gunsmoke by John Meston, with music composed and conducted by Rex Corey. Featured in the cast were Joseph Kearns, Herb Ellis, Vic Perrin, and Jack Crucian. Harley Bear is Chester, Howard McNear is Doc, and Georgia Ellis is Kitty. Gunsmoke has been selected by the Armed Forces Radio Service to be heard by our troops overseas. Join us again next week as Matt Dillon, U.S. Marshal, fights to bring law and order out of the wild violence of the West in Gunsmoke. Dear listener, yours truly, Johnny Dollar, puts his signature on an action-packed mystery thriller every Tuesday evening on CBS Radio over most of these same stations. Hear Hollywood star John Lund as Johnny Dollar, the man with the action-packed expense account. He's a freelance investigator. His territory takes in the four corners of the globe. This thriller's a hit show that will keep you on the edge of your chair every single second. Tuesday night, yours truly, Johnny Dollar, is waiting just for you. George Walsh speaking. Lionel Barrymore's Radio Hall of Fame, his great Sunday night drama on the CBS Radio Network.
A lot of what flew back then wouldn't fly today, would it? 70 years ago, May 22nd, 1954, Gunsmoke here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Let me mention tomorrow we'll have This Is Your FBI, Broadway Is My Beat, Counter Spy, The Lives of Harry Lime, and Superman. But right now, in just a moment, we will head to San Francisco, California for an episode of Have Gun, Will Travel.
And you will undoubtedly hear it many more times as the days go by. Now, just in case you're hazy on exactly what it means, let me give you a rough idea. It means that the cost of your clothes and food has gone up to a point where the family budget has become somewhat strained. Well, that's one of those things, and you can't be expected to increase the family income. But there are some things you can do to help. For instance, take better care of your clothes. When you come home from school, change into old clothes before you go out to play. Take care of your health, because doctors and medicines are expensive. Eat well, but don't waste. Take your full share, but eat all you take. Try not to ask Mother and Dad to buy you things you don't actually need. Make the best and the most of what you've got. Try to be more than usually careful of your school equipment, such as paper, pencils, and so forth. Make them last and go as far as you possibly can. Remember that all members of a family must pull together at a time like this. So do your share.
Now let's head back 64 years on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox to May 22nd, 1960. John Dehner as Paladin in the radio adaptation of the television program Have Gun Will Travel and the story of the Lucky Penny Mine.
The old man doesn't have long to live. If he learns the truth about his gold mine, it might be the end of him.
Have Gun Will Travel. Starring Mr. John Dehner as Paladin. San Francisco, 1875. The Carlton Hotel, headquarters of the man called Paladin.
Mr. Paladin.
Over here, hey boy.
Oh, Esau, didn't see you sit over in corner, slide down in chair, feet up on stool, smoky cigar. Like a man with nothing on mind.
Do I give that impression?
Yes, sir.
Well, you're quite right. You see before you, hey boy, a man enjoying his leisure. Now, what can I do for you?
Oh, here, telegram.
Thank you. Let's see. Can you get up here? Well, he doesn't waste words, does he? Signed, Matthew Penrod.
Oh, you know this man, huh?
Well, hey, boy, there was a time when I guess just about everybody knew Matt Penrod, or at least knew about him. Did you ever hear of the Lucky Penny Mine?
The Lucky Penny Mine?
Yeah.
No.
Well, anyway, it's up above Prescott in Arizona territory. Matt Penrod had prospected for years all over the West with no luck. And finally, he was down to his last penny. And the story is he flipped the coin. Tails, he'd forget the whole thing. And heads, he'd give it one more try. And the penny came up heads.
Oh, so? That when he found the Lucky Penny Mine, did he make a biggie strike?
A big one. A lot of gold was taken out of the Lucky Penny. Then, poor Matt, the vein ran out. Overnight. Completely gone.
Oh, too bad.
Matt wouldn't believe the mine was worked out, and he kept pouring more money into the thing until, well, he finally went broke. And the last time I saw him, he was still there in that shut-down mine, digging around, looking for that lost vein.
Oh, he don't give up, eh?
No, sort of sad, too. I wonder what Matt wants with me. Can you get up here? Well, I certainly can. Hey, boy, let's go pack. The last time I had occasion to visit the Lucky Penny, it was a ghost mine. So when I arrived, I was surprised to see smoke pouring from the smelter stacks and to hear unmistakable sounds of activity. I rode on to the ornate old house Matt Penrod had built for himself on the side of a hill, and he was waiting for me on a wide-screened porch that overlooked the mine.
Paladin!
Hey, Matt!
Well, I'm glad to see you.
How are you, Matt?
Look at her, Paladin. Just look out there, going like a house afire. Come on over here and sit down, son.
Well, Matt, that sure is a beautiful sight, all right. Yeah. So, you fooled the experts. You found the lost vein, huh?
Darn this thing.
Tell me about it, Matt.
Well, like you see, with me in this here doggone wheelchair, got so I couldn't climb around my diggings anymore. Had to give it up. Yep, I had to call it quits.
Oh, not you, Matt.
Yep. Then one day this fella come along, said he'd heard about the mine, wanted to know if he could look around. I had him sized up for a real dude, but I said, sure, go ahead. Well, Paladin, if he didn't go poking around in them shafts and locate that lost vein.
Well, you always said it was there, Matt.
Yep. Sure wish I was able to get a look at her. And you know something? Know what this fella's name is?
Huh.
Penny. Joe Penny.
Joe Penny?
Yeah. You see? Yeah. Lucky Penny. Yeah. Well, anyway, he come to me with a proposition to work the mine. He take over, we go shares. It's all right with me right now, because I just like to see her going.
Yeah, I think I understand.
It's just one bad thing, though. You remember Charlie Hodges?
Sure. He's the superintendent who was with you for so long.
Yep. Well, Charlie and this Joe just couldn't seem to hit it off. Couldn't work together. Wasn't anything I could do about it, Paladin. It just turned out that Charlie had to go.
That seems a shame.
Sure was. Sort of took the shine off the whole thing. But now there's something else.
What's that?
Our first shipment went out about 3 weeks ago, headed for the mint. but we lost it.
Lost it?
Yeah. Between the mill and the railroad, they tell me.
You mean it was held up, robbed?
So they say.
Have you called in the law?
No, I don't want the law in on this. That's why I sent for you. It ain't so much I want to know who did it. I just have to know who didn't. And I want you to prove he didn't have nothing to do with it.
Who?
Charlie Hodges.
Oh, Matt, surely you don't think that...
No, of course I don't. But they're trying to tell me he did. Joe Penny, some of them others pointing the finger at him. And I ain't going to have it. So you get to work, Paladin. You prove Charlie didn't have nothing to do with it.
I don't think that'll be very hard, Matt. Will I have a chance to meet this Penny?
He ain't here now. Said he had to go east on a buying trip. I don't know. But you get to work.
All right, Matt.
Look at that mine, Paladin. Going like a house afire.
It was late in the day when I left Matt's house. But I decided to swing around and have a look at the mine. That wasn't easy. A high wall completely surrounded the place. I followed the wall until I found a gate. The sign said, "Keep out," but I somehow couldn't believe it. The gate was open. So I started through.
That's far enough. Can't you read?
Yeah?
It says, "Keep out." That was your warning, mister. That shot was aimed over your head. If you show up here again, I'll send a bullet through you.
I see.
Understand?
No, but I hope to. Very soon. Come on, boy. A fortress mine was an unusual thing in that part of the country, and I began to wonder just how much old Matt knew about his lucky penny operations. The hotel in town was musty from its years of disuse, but it was open for business, so I checked in and went up to my room. I tried to figure just where to start to prove that Charlie Hodges did not steal the Lucky Penny's gold shipment. Yes?
Paladin?
Yes?
Remember me?
Charlie Hodges.
I happened to be in town when you rode through today. I thought I recognized you.
I'm glad you did, Charlie. Come on in.
Thank you.
I saw Matt this afternoon.
Oh, what'd you think?
He looks old, tired, but he's happy.
Yeah, he's happy. Maybe after all, that's what's important.
Well, go on, sit down, Charlie.
Oh, thanks.
Say, Charlie, Matt wants me to check that robbery of his gold shipment.
Oh?
Charlie, he wants me to prove that you didn't do it.
Well, that'll be easy. I didn't.
That convinces me. Do you have any idea who did, Charlie?
Well, as near as I can figure, nobody.
What do you mean?
I don't see how anybody could steal the gold. Because I don't see how there could be any gold.
Huh?
Oh, the Lucky Penny's worked out.
Oh, they're working the mine right now. Look out the window. You can see the fire from the smokestacks. They must be on a 24-hour schedule.
That's what's got me baffled. Paladin, I know the Lucky Penny like I know the inside of my hand. And I know a worked-out mine when I see one. That vein didn't just default, it quit.
Matt doesn't think so.
I know.
What about this Joe Penny?
Well, we didn't get along right from the start. But funny thing, he saw to it that I never had a chance to check out that vein he discovered.
But even helpless as he is, how could anyone fool an old miner like Matt?
Well, Matt isn't the man he used to be, Paladin. Besides, a man believes what he wants to believe.
Yeah, you're right.
Say, did you ever meet this Joe Penny?
No.
Believe me, he's just a cheap crook.
Do you know what he's up to?
I think so.
Investment swindle?
Sure. He wants to make the Lucky Penny look like a going outfit so the suckers will want a piece of it.
And he had to fake the holdup to explain away why there's nothing to show for all the activity, huh?
Exactly. The worst thing, when he collects his boodle, he's going to beat it and leave the old man helpless. Paladin, I don't want to see that happen.
Well, we'd have to prove they're faking the operation. The only way to do it is get inside. I tried it, and I didn't get very far. What can we do, Charlie?
Well, Paladin, I've been thinking about this, and there is a way. There's an old tunnel starts outside that wall. It's been sealed off from the main shaft, but it won't take much of a charge to clear it.
Well, why don't we give it a try? Go out there first thing in the morning.
Sure, I'm willing. I'll have the dynamite with me.
long since this tunnel's been here?
Oh, long time. Used to be the east portal before we abandoned it. I'll bet even Matt's forgotten about it. Hey, hold it. Here's where she's sealed off. Oh, give me that dynamite stick.
Here.
You got the caps?
Uh-huh. When you find your spot, I'll fuse it.
All right. Now, let's see. Well, about here'll make her fall, right?
All right. Won't they hear the blast up there?
No, not enough. You got her crimped yet?
Yeah, I'm ready to go.
All right, now get back a ways. You better get down on your belly.
All right. It's a short fuse, Charlie. When you light it, move fast.
Yeah. There she is.
Very pretty, Charlie.
I used to be considered one of the best powder monkeys in the West. Glad to know I haven't lost my touch.
Yeah.
Come on, let's go.
I was happy to remember that Charlie knew the lucky penny like the inside of his hand. It was all a bewildering maze to me, but somehow we eventually reached the main portal and we were able to look out on the yard where the mill and refinery were located.
Looks like we made a mistake when we figured to disguise ourselves in these miners' clothes.
Those men out there look more like Barbary Coast riffraff.
Never see such a bunch of plug uglies. Look, all those that ain't in the poker game have rifles over their shoulders.
Hey, you smell that?
Yeah.
What is it?
There's chlorine gas. They got that refinery running full blast.
Is there any way we can get over there?
Yeah, if we can make it past those rifles, we can duck behind the slag dump and get around the back way.
Come on. Take off that miner's hat. It makes you conspicuous.
Oh.
All right, come on.
We made it.
Yeah. Wonder why they have no rifle guarding this spot.
I guess he stepped over to take a hand in the poker game. Say, Paladin, I'm confused.
Why?
Well, some of that slag we passed is hot, like it was fresh dumped.
Well, that would mean they're going through the whole smelting process?
Yeah.
Well, they wouldn't have to do that just for show, would they?
Well, I can't see why. Have you got your gun?
Yeah.
We'll have to shoot our way out if we get caught, but I want to try to get to that storage vault over there.
Where's that?
That iron shed, see?
Oh.
The heavy door on it? All right, come on.
Yep.
Hey, we're in luck. It isn't locked.
Ooh, Charlie, look at that.
Why, gold bars, real gold.
Hey, Maxie, look it!
Oh, they've seen us.
Do we shoot?
No, better to run. Follow me.
Right. Rifle bullets began to bounce all around us, and suddenly we had a whole army on our tail. I kept my eyes on Charlie's feet and ran around a slag dump, across the yard, and into the mine shaft, and then it was dark. And I followed the sound. We climbed up, slid down, twisted, turned.
All right. We can stop now. Taking a while to find us here. I used a shortcut.
You mean you actually know where we are?
Yeah, number 3 shaft. There's some storage chambers here, powder magazine, tools, things like that.
You suppose we could find a lantern?
I think so. Supply chamber's right down here. Say, Paladin, that was gold, wasn't it?
It sure was.
That'll be. That lantern should be here.
You really know your way around this lucky penny, don't you?
Yeah, I thought I knew all there was to know about her, but she kind of got me baffled now. Oh, yeah, here's one. Wait, I'll light it up.
Need any help?
No. There we are.
That's cheerful.
Say, Paladin.
What?
Look, this is general storage.
Well, what do you know about that? Why, there must be tons and tons of that stuff piled up in here.
Gold watch case, gold ring,
Gold loving cup, gold chain.
gold spoon.
Hey, look at this. Gold tooth.
Oh.
Hey, you know, Charlie, all of a sudden the operation at the Lucky Penny isn't quite so baffling.
It is to me.
I sure have to hand it to Joe Penny. He had quite an idea.
Well, if you get this, you tell me, will you?
The way I see it, Joe is using the Lucky Penny to fence stolen gold. This must be sort of a clearinghouse for gold loot from petty thefts and robberies all over the country. Joe buys it cheap, runs it through the smelter, comes out legitimate. Nice, clean gold bars, acceptable to the mint.
What do you know about that? You think that's it, huh?
I'm sure of it. He's pretty smart.
Yeah, maybe not so smart. He got found out.
Yeah, we found him out, but right now we're in this mine with a whole army of his riflemen after us. We may never have a chance to prove it.
I don't want to prove it.
Why not?
Well, you know and I know that old Matt hasn't got many days to live. Can you imagine what it'd do to him if this story came out?
Well, you're right, Charlie, but we can't let them keep this up.
Yeah, let's just spoil their little game. Scare them off. Run them out. Paladin, the powder magazine's right over here. Load up with as much of the stuff as you can carry. We can start here with general storage.
A stick of dynamite sealed the entrance to general storage, and then we retraced our steps through the mine, blasting shut every tunnel and chamber where the loot was stored. The noise echoed and re-echoed, and the whole hill began to shake. And when we reached the portal, we saw the riflemen in full retreat across the yard. Charlie tossed his last stick of dynamite after them. As to a man, they went over the high wall. That evening, I called on Matt Penrod. I merely assured him that I was convinced beyond any doubt that Charlie was innocent.
And I sure thank you, Paladin. Of course, I know Charlie never done it, but I just had to prove it. I sure wish Charlie'd consider coming back to the Lucky Penny.
Matt, what about this Joe Penny?
Oh, I had a note from Joe. That buying trip he went on, he ran into some sort of difficulty. He's going to be detained a long time. 2 to 5 years, he said.
Oh, I see. Well, I think Charlie would be happy to come back.
Be worth his while, the way things are popping at the mine. I guess I'm a silly old man, Paladin. But you don't know what it means to me to sit here on my porch like this, hearing them sounds at the Lucky Penny. Like this morning. Yeah, seems kind of quiet tonight, though. But this morning and all that blasting going on, yes, sir, Bob, I could tell things was really a-humming.
That's right, man. Things were really humming. Oh, Miss Wong.
Lisa, just finished cleaning your room, Mr. Paladin.
That's very nice.
Oh, thank you. You had nice breakfast in dining room this morning?
Oh, yes, I did. Don't tell anyone, but I had big steak,
Big steak.
3 eggs,
3 eggs?
hash brown potatoes,
Hash brown.
and hot biscuits,
Oh.
dripping butter.
My, you eat too much. You get pudgy fat.
No danger, Miss Wong. The only good meals I get are those here at the Carlton, and that isn't very often since I'm away most of the time anyway.
Yes, Mr. Paladin, Macy Wong found penny you leave on bureau dresser.
Oh, yes, that's a special penny, Miss Wong.
Oh?
Came in the mail yesterday with some very sad news. A friend of mine passed away.
Oh, so sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A wonderful old gentleman.
Oh.
He remembered me in his will.
Oh, you inherit some money?
Yes. That penny.
Just 1 penny?
That's all.
Hmm.
But it's very special. A lucky penny.
Oh, it's supposed to bring you much luck?
Maybe. We'll see, Miss Wong.
Yes, sir.
Have gun. Will travel. created by Herb Meadow and Sam Rolfe, is produced and directed in Hollywood by Frank Paris and stars John Dehner as Paladin, with Ben Wright as Hayboy and Virginia Gregg as Miss Wong. Tonight's story was specially written for Have Gun Will Travel by Ann Dowd. Featured in the cast were Ralph Moody, Joseph Cranston, and Joseph Kearns. This is Hugh Douglas inviting you to join us again next week when CBS Radio presents Have Gun Will Travel.
Unlike Gunsmoke, when a lot of the programs that were done for radio were remade for television, very few of the television episodes were adapted for radio. They mainly did original scripts, and they fit John Dehner's version of Paladin very well. Have Gun Will Travel, 64 years ago, May 22nd, 1960, here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Crime Tomorrow with This Is Your FBI, Broadway Is My Beat, Counter Spy, The Lives of Harry Lime, and Superman. But right now, we're going to head out with Reed Hadley to Frontier Town.
At this moment, throughout the country, millions of motorists are beginning to wend their way home along crowded highways from a long Independence Day weekend. It is at times such as these when accidents happen more frequently, when death and driving draw closer together. You can help to decrease the accident and death rate on our nation's highways. Excessive speed for driving conditions is a major cause of many motor accidents. Control your speed at all times to keep within the safe speed, not just the legal limit. America's professional truck drivers are taught to drive ahead of themselves and to avoid accidents by seeing them threaten before they can happen. They know that careful driving keeps them from having accidents which may take lives. Speed is the number one killer on the highways. So drive carefully today on your way home from an enjoyable weekend, and tomorrow wherever you go in your car. Exercise caution, courtesy, and the golden rule, for the life you save may be your own.
And while it may not be Independence Day weekend, in fact, we've got the Memorial Day weekend coming up, the sentiment remains the same. Drive careful, won't you please? All right, let's head out to Frontier Town. Reed Hadley stars in this transcribed serial from 71 years ago, May 22nd, 1953, the story of The Chase.
Frontier Town, the saga of the Roaring West. Frontier Town. El Paso, Cheyenne, Calgary, Tombstone. Frontier Town. Here is the adventurous story of the early West, the tamed and the untamed. From the Pecos to Powder River, Dodge City to Poker Flat. These are the towns they fought to live in and lived to fight for. Teeming crucibles of pioneer freedom. Frontier Town!
Howdy, the name's Chad Remington. The hometown is Dos Rios. And the occupation? Well, some folks call me a frontier town lawyer. But between us, even though I do have a law office, the very nature of the frontier and the people who populate it makes my occupation troubleshooter, with the accent on both words. Want me to prove it? Well, let's take the case of a gent known as Cimarron Whitey. Now, there was a time when the mere mention of the name Cimarron Whitey would have spread terror throughout the frontier, because Whitey was one of the most daring desperados of his time. But today, well, to be factual, let's say 4 weeks ago, Cimarron Whitey was a sick old man, slowly dying in a cell in the Archuleta County Jail. In fact, Whitey's cellmate, Tex Cleaver, was sure the old man was dying as he watched him laboriously working over a crudely drawn map.
What's that you got there, Whitey? You've been working on that thing most all day.
Prison sawbones tells me I'll be cashing in my chips any time now, Tex. That part don't worry me none. But I once done a person, a woman, a dreadful injustice. And I'm hoping before I kick off I'll be able to straighten things out for her.
Oh? Well, you still ain't told me what those hen tracks are that you've drawn there, Whitey.
It's a map, Tex. A map that'll show where $80,000 is buried.
Did you say 80,000?
Yeah. It's the money I stole from a gambling place in a bonanza town right close to Stampede years ago. And I'm sending this map to the woman who was cashier of the place so she can return it to the folks it belongs to, if they're still alive.
Now, Whitey, you and me have shared this same cell for 3 years now, and I done a lot of things for you. Now, instead of sending this map to some old woman who probably ain't even alive, why don't you...
There ain't no use wasting your breath on no song and dance, Tex. No one's getting that map but Blanche McCarthy.
Why, you ungrateful old... Now we'll see who gets that map. And if I can get past that stupid turnkey, that 80,000 is gonna be all mine.
How did you get out, Tex? Last I heard of you, they give you 10 years.
Well, I'll tell you, Bat. I didn't like their grub, so I had my butler pack my bags, and I left their crummy old jail.
Oh, so you're on the dodge, huh?
Yeah.
Well, if it's all the same to you, Cleaver, I don't want you or your kind hanging around my place.
Now, wait a minute.
Nesbitt's right, Tex. We don't want the law trailing you here. What you've done is your business, but we ain't going to get mixed up in it.
Now, will you Jaspers wait? Now, if you two will hide me out, I'll cut you in on something that'll put you on Easy Street for the rest of your lives.
I got an oil painting of you putting me on Easy Street.
You ever hear of Cimarron Whitey?
I ain't heard of him for years. Best I remember, he got sent away for sticking up a gambling joint and getting away with $80,000. Cimarron Whitey ain't got nothing to do with me. And I don't want you hanging around here.
Well, that's all right with me, Nesbitt. But I got a map Whitey drew showing where that 80,000 is cached.
I don't care if you... You what?
Yeah, that's why I busted out. I got the map, and I'm on my way to get the money.
Come on, Tex, let's go into my private office. There are too many people with long ears out here. And I want to hear your story about Cimarron Whitey.
Well, that's about the whole story, Nesbitt. Whitey drew the map, and I got it.
Yeah? Well, if you want Bat and me to hide you out, we want to see that map.
Nothing doing.
Don't be loco, Tex. We got to be sure you got that map.
Not on your tintype. You'll see that map after I see where you're going to hide me out.
That's what I thought. You ain't got no map. Bat, your friend here's nothing but an out-and-out liar.
You can't make me sore, Nesbitt. Not while I got this map. You can call me anything you want.
Why, you... Hold it, Bat. Maybe Tex is right.
Huh?
Why, you just... He talks confident enough to convince me. If he's running a bluff, we'll find out soon enough.
I ain't bluffing.
Look, Tex, I got a room upstairs where I got a bed I stretch out on when I get tired and can't go home. You go up and stay there until we're ready to leave tonight. Then Bat and me will hide you out of my place.
Good enough, Nesbitt.
Go on outside. There's a little staircase running upstairs right behind the bar. Bat and me will be up later and wake you.
Fine. And I'm giving it to you straight. We'll all have enough money to be on Easy Street before the week's over.
You think he's got that map, Nesbitt? I don't know, Bat. But you're going to find out. Huh? I'm going to find out. Cleaver's knocked out, dead for sleep. Once he gets upstairs and falls on that bed, he'll be snoring inside of 5 minutes. Yeah, so? So? You go up after him in a little while and see if he's got that map on him or not. What if he wakes up, though? Well, what if he wakes up? You're wearing a gun, ain't you? I sure am wearing a gun, but I'm blamed if I'm using it on Tex Cleaver. Oh. Well, I say you are. And I say I'm not. Last, you get upstairs and do as you're told. Well, who do you think you are giving me orders? I'll show you who I am mighty fast. Why, you four-flushing bag of wind. Go on, go for your gun. You couldn't hit me. Well, if there really is a map, Bat ain't gonna have no part of it. It's gonna be mine, and no one else's.
That map spelled trouble, and the trouble led right to my doorstep. Once the prison warden found out what happened, and knowing that Cimarron Whitey had only days at most to live, he arranged his parole. And needing help, Whitey dragged himself cross-country and up to my office just in time to interrupt a game of euchre I was playing with the ex-medicine man, Cherokee O'Bannon, to keep his mind off what he calls drinking liquor. Worn and weary, the man who had plagued the whole Cimarron country was barely able to gasp out his story.
You see, I was in love with Blanche McCarthy. When she turned me down, I got sore. So I held up the place where she worked as cashier.
But if she didn't own the place, how could that hurt her?
Everybody for miles around knew I was in love with her, Cherokee. So, naturally, they thought she was in on the robbery with me. I figured it'd ruin her life, and it did.
In other words, now that you've ruined her life, you've relented, and you want to see that she has the map so that you can get the money back and prove that she had nothing to do with it.
That's about the size of a Remington.
Yeah, but that was 20 years ago. Why do all this now?
Because I didn't know until about a week ago that Blanche is still alive. A fella I knew in the old days wrote and told me he'd see her. She's living in an old nester's cabin up in the Rockies north of Stampede.
Well, everything would have been all right if Tex Cleaver hadn't slugged you and the guard and broken jail with a map.
That's the truth. I would have mailed the map to Blanche days ago.
Whitey, as a lawyer, there isn't anything I can do for you.
Do you mean that?
But as a man, I'm telling you that Cherokee and I are going to find Tex Cleaver's trail. And with your help, run him to earth before he gets his murdering hands on that $80,000.
It's all coming back to me, Chad. That's Stampede just over the rise of the next hill.
It's too blasted bad Cleaver got as many days head start as he did.
Well, knowing that every lawman in this part of the country will be looking for him, if he has the brains I give him credit for, he'll lay low for a spell.
Chad, those shots came from dead ahead of us.
Come on, Whitey, prod up that pony.
See, Chad? 2 men.
Yeah. One's been gunned down and the other's searching his clothes for something. Put that gun down, you bushwhacking. All right, if that's the way you want to play.
You dropped him, Chad.
Oh, look, he's getting up and hitting his horse. He's getting away.
Let him go for now. With that tan and yellow calfskin vest and that white San Fran Stetson, if we ever see him again, we'll know him. Right now, we'd better get over there and see what we can do for the fellow who's been shot.
Oh, boy.
Chad, that's him. Tex Cleaver.
He's as full of holes now as an accordion.
Look, his jacket's almost ripped off, and so's his shirt.
Somebody wanted that map and wanted it bad, and I guess he got it.
He got it? Who's he, Chad?
That fella in the calfskin vest who just ran off. You see there, one of Cleaver's boots is off. I'll bet you that $80,000 and 10 cents more, that's where Cleaver hid the map he stole from you, Whitey. In his boot.
Poor Jasper. But he's lucky at that. Breaking out, I'm surprised one of the prison guards didn't hit him.
Well, we're not getting any place standing here.
I guess the best thing to do is to pick him up and take him into town.
No, not this time, Cherokee. We'll tell the sheriff about it. Right now, we've got a trail to follow and a murderer to trap.
This is just a hunch, Chad. But once we get to town, I want to go in and see a fella called Nesbitt, if he's still around. If he hasn't changed any, he knows every owl, hoot, and gunslinger around here.
Now, what is it you want me to do, Nesbitt?
Just help me dig this money out where it shows on the map. And believe me, I wouldn't be cutting you in if I didn't have this slug on my shoulder that I got this afternoon after I caught up with Cleaver.
What's the deal? How do we split it up?
Why, 50-50, of course.
You know something, Nesbitt? You better make sure it's 50-50.
What are you talking about? I never waltzed on nobody.
Yeah? Well, I haven't seen Bat around today.
Bat? Why, Bat. Bat went up to Leadville. Yeah, I sent that up to Leadville on some business.
Leadville. Maybe you are right, mister. Leadville may be a good name for where Bat went. Now, look. I don't know what happened to Bat, and I don't care much. But I do know that if I help you dig out this money and you try to cross me up, you'll be going to Leadville, too. You'll be so full of lead, maybe they'll name you Leadville.
Confound you, Chuck. You can't come in here threatening
Nesbitt,
me.
Chuck, there's someone outside the window.
Who was it, Chuck? Who was at the window?
I don't know, but I'm blamed well going to find out. There's nobody here now.
Maybe you were just seeing things, Chuck.
I sure was seeing things. Since I generally hit what I see, whoever was outside that window is probably headed for the doctors right now. Or maybe even the undertakers.
And now, Frontier Town.
Of course, we were fools. We were the only people who didn't need the map to find the cache of hidden money. But as Chuck had told Nesbitt, whatever he saw, he hit. And poor old Whitey came back with one hole right through his thigh. Knowing that if we took him to a doctor's, all our plans might be ruined once the news got out, we hustled Whitey up country and made him comfortable on a bed of moss and boughs. He was weaker than ever, but with the heart of a mountain lion, Cimarron Whitey hung on.
Nesbitt's got the map, all right, Chad. And likely enough, him and that gunslinger are on their way up into the hills now.
As long as Whitey seems to be holding his own, Chad, why don't we get the directions from him and see if we can't beat Nesbitt to the money?
Can you tell us how to get to the place where you hid the money, Whitey?
About 5-6 miles up that way, there's a little canyon full of cottonwoods and quakies. Turn left there.
Uh-huh.
About a mile down the draw, there ought to be a cabin. If it's not there no more, you'll have to see if you can find out where it used to be. Because exactly halfway between the house and the old corral is where I buried the strong box.
We'll find it, Whitey. Come on, Chad.
Just a minute, Cherokee. I want you to give Whitey your carbine, just in case.
I don't reckon I'll be needing no rifle.
I hope not, Whitey, because you're out on parole. And if you do manage to live and they find that you fired a gun, you'll be back in prison so fast it'll make your head swim. All right, Cherokee, let's go.
Well, this is the cabin, Chuck. Whoa. Blast it. The shoulder's killing me. You get the pick and shovel off your horse while I try to locate the place on this map.
You bet, Nesbitt. I'll get the tools.
It's a good thing that cabin's still there and the corral. This must be just about the spot Whitey marked on the map.
Here you are, Nesbitt. I'll start digging while you rest your shoulder. But you better keep your gun handy, just in case.
If anyone even tries to follow us, they won't get very far. That's why I posted Lefty down at the mouth of the canyon. All right, Chuck, start digging. I can hardly wait to see the color of that $80,000.
Look, Chad, there's a canyon full of cottonwoods and quakies right ahead of us.
Too bad we couldn't have gotten up here in the daylight. With no moon, we're going to have a devil's own time trying to find that cabin and... Cherokee, off your horse quick and play dead.
Well, now, I don't see how one bullet could have gotten them both.
And you're not going to see much of anything else after I get through with you.
Why, you double-dealing sneak.
Chad, look out. You're right against the rim of the canyon. Chad!
Stupid ape. He must have rolled right down to the bottom.
Who do you think it was, Chad? Someone else who was after the money that Whitey buried?
I'm sure I don't know. The only thing I know for sure is what we've got to do is get back to our horses and pray that we find that cabin before it's too late.
I sure ain't struck nothing yet, Nesbitt.
It's got to be there somewhere, Chuck. There's the exact spot that shows on the map old Cimarron Whitey drew.
Swinging this pickaxe is no cinch. And I'm getting tired
What
of...
are you men doing here on my property?
Who are you?
I thought I recognized that voice. Ain't you Nesbit from down in Stampede?
Yeah, I'm Nesbit, but I don't know who... Well, I'll be jiggered. Blanche McCarthy.
Who's Blanche McCarthy?
The dame. The cashier who was in on the robbery with Whitey. So you're looking for it too, huh, Blanche? Well, you ain't gonna get it.
What are you talking about? Looking for what?
Look, you old bag of bones, it ain't gonna do you any good to play dumb.
I'm telling you I don't know what you're talking about. And what's more, this is my place, and I'm telling you to get off it.
Chuck, get behind her and let her have it with a shovel.
What's that? What'd you say?
Why, just telling my friend here that being in with Cimarron Whitey, you probably got the dinero already.
I wasn't in with him. I had nothing to do with that robbery, and I...
Nice going, Chuck.
What do you want to do? Finish her off?
You loco or something? Pull trigger up here, and if anybody hears it, we'll never get that money. No. We'll tie her up and drag her up to her cabin. There's probably a closet there where we can hide her till we're through up here. And then we'll be in the clear. Come on.
Billy Blue Blazes, Chad, how much further can this cabin be?
I wish I knew, Cherokee. After 20 years, Whitey's memory of what a mile might be certainly isn't too trustworthy. Only one thing to do. Just keep knocking on these horses and hope we get there in time.
I don't believe he buried no dough here. I think it...
What's that? Your shovel just hit something.
It did, Nesbit. It's a metal strongbox that shows you're a foot high.
Well, get it out, Chuck. Hurry.
There.
Come on, Chuck. Don't be so doggone slow.
There. I reckon I can lift it out now. Come on. Out you come. Wait. That thing is heavy.
Let's take it into Blanche's house where we can see.
Good idea. And don't forget, Nesbit, we're splitting this 50-50.
Sure we are. Put the box on that table, Chuck.
Now if I look inside the box. I think that's got it. Look at them greenbacks. It must be all I need here for the rest of my life.
But a dead man won't have no use for money, Chuck.
Hey, what?
And in a couple of seconds, that's what you're going to be.
Why, you double-crosser.
Hold it. Don't move, either one of you. All right, come on, Cherokee. Get in through the window while I cover you.
Right, Dad.
Nesbit, the one with the gun's a lawyer. Come on, shoot at the lamp. Chuck, let's get out of here. Throw some lead, Nesbit. They're coming after us.
Chad, when that lamp broke, it set fire to this place.
Grab that strong box and get it outside quick.
Someone's banging on that closet door, Chad.
They must have locked somebody in this closet. Here, give me a hand.
But the money!
Good Lord, let that go for now. Come on. Lay into this door.
Merciful Providence, Chad. Look, it's an old woman.
All right. Help me get her out of here. Then we'll come back for the money if it isn't burned up.
All right, Chuck, this is far enough.
You double-crosser weasel. I got a good mind to bash your brains in.
You nitwit. Didn't you know I was just playing a joke on you inside? I wouldn't have shot you no more than I would have shot the old lady. It would have brought too many people around.
A lot of good that'll do us now. With them two in there.
We're taking care of them, too. With that cabin burning all around them, they can't stay in there much longer. When they come out, with the flames behind them, they'll look like clay pipes in a shooting gallery.
Yeah, they sure will. And Mr. Nesbit, you better not miss.
Here they come now.
Over this way, Cherokee. Away from the sparks.
You ready, Nesbit?
I sure am, and this is the end of...
Nesbit, what happened? Where the devil did you go?
Cherokee, there's someone out here.
I wonder who threw those two shots.
Well, I'll be blamed. Here are the two polecats who set fire to the cabin, and they're as dead as doornails.
From the looks of them with their guns out and cocked, I'd say they were about to get us. I'd sure like to know who shot them.
Wait a minute. Here comes someone now.
Chad!
By the whiskers of the prophets, do you see who it is? Cimarron Whitey.
Chad, here's The carbine you loaned me. I broke my parole. Don't tell Warden that I...
Chad, is he...
He's gone, Cherokee. But he saved our bacon. Poor old Whitey. He was tough and bad, but he was one of the best of them. He died with his boots on. I know that riding double is no particular pleasure, but are you comfortable, Mrs. McCarthy?
It's Miss McCarthy, if you please.
Hey, when I see her eyes flash like that, Chad, I can see when Whitey fell in love with her 20 years ago.
And I can see why Whitey was still in love with her. Too bad that he ended the way he did.
Oh, it isn't really. No, I don't mean that Whitey wasn't a wild one and deserved to die that way. I just mean that... Well, if he came back to get me, there wouldn't have been much happiness for either one of us.
I guess you're right, Blanche. His number was up weeks ago.
You pardon my curiosity, just what were you planning to do with that 80,000, ma'am? Or miss, as the case may be?
I don't know. Billy Fellers owned the place Whitey stuck up's been dead for years now. Can't give it back to him.
Well, then, why don't you take it and buy yourself some Paris clothes? Get all fixed up and enjoy life for a change.
Chad, do you realize what you're saying? Now, if Miss McCarthy would care to invest a few $1,000s in my genuine Indian rattlesnake oil, I could promise her
Oh, no, I won't. I've run up against you medicine men before. No, I've lived my life. Can't change it now, but there's a lot of folks around Stampede who could use that money. Maybe I'll see that they get it. Yeah, maybe I will.
Well, Cherokee, are you going to let that money go just as easy as all that?
My boy, when I come face to face with someone like Blanche here, someone who's real folks, all the chicanery and that sharp little brain of mine seems to melt away and form a big lump in my throat. Hey, I must be getting old. Better get back to town before I get any older. Get up there! Get up!
Frontier Town, starring Reed Hadley and featuring Wade Crosby, is a Bruce Ells production. Story and direction by Paul Franklin. Music written and played by Ivan Ditmars. Be sure to be with us again, same time next week, for another action-adventure story with your favorite young Western star, Reed Hadley. And now this is Bill Foreman telling you that Frontier Town comes to you from Hollywood.
While Jeff Chandler was not a young star when he originated the character of Chad Remington, neither was Reed Hadley. Hadley had portrayed Red Ryder. He had been on Tales of the Texas Rangers, and I have to tell you that he'd done a lot of acting prior to have done this. Doing some quick math in my head, he was well over 30 by the time he had done this program. But he passed away in 1974 of a heart attack at the age of 63. And he does have a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame in television category. So there you go. All right, a show we've never aired before, Hawk Larrabee, starring Barton Yarborough, best remembered for his time on Dragnet, this going back 77 years. That'll be up next.
Remember how relieved you were when you heard there was at last a vaccine to stamp out polio? Remember the early doubts and fears that it hadn't really been perfected? Those days are behind us. Areas where the Salk vaccine has been taken by substantial numbers of children and adults under 40 have shown remarkable results. But studies made last year show that a most susceptible group have been neglecting themselves. Almost 41 million adults under 40 years of age have not taken as much as one polio shot. Do you doubt that this is important? If so, please note carefully that after 2 years of rewarding statistics, in 1958, the incidence of polio started to climb again. The vaccine won't work on people who don't take it. At least 3 shots, spaced as your doctor or clinic recommends, are vital for maximum protection from polio. The CBS Radio Network and its affiliated stations join the United States Department of Health in urging, get your polio shots. Get them starting now.
You know, one of the great things about this country is we have had vaccines that have not worked and vaccines that have worked. And polio was one of them that worked. Not long ago, a gentleman passed away after living in an iron lung for over half a century. And it was sad. I mean, the iron lung just quit working. And he died. But amazing that he lasted that long. The fact that we don't have to have kids living their entire lives in iron lungs anymore is really kind of good to see. All right, let's roll on here. A show we have never done before. Barton Yarborough, starring in this program called Hawk Larrabee. This episode goes back 77 years to May 22nd, 1947. And there is a gold camp at Mulberry Creek.
Come along, folks, and listen to the tale of Hawk Larrabee on the Western Trail. Come-a-tie-yi, yippee-yippee-yi, yippee-yi. Come-a-tie-yi, yippee-yippee-yi.
Larrabee's the name. Hawk Larrabee.
He's rode every trail across the lone prairie, as sure as his name's Hawk Larrabee. Come-a-tie-yi, yippee-yippee-yi, yippee-yi. Come-a-tie-yi, yippee-yippee-yi.
Yes, it's Hawk Larrabee, starring Barton Yarborough with his exciting stories of the timeless West. Stories of men and women, famous and infamous, who loved and hated, lived and died in the colorful drama of the American West. Stories chronicled for you by Hawk Larrabee.
Yep, I'm Hawk Larrabee. A lot of folks claim that I was a fiddlefoot, that I couldn't stay put in one place. And it wasn't long before I started to believe in them myself, because I left my old stamping grounds at Sundown Wells and hit the trail. First stop, the gold camp at Mulberry Creek. There wasn't no mulberries that I could see, and the only creek was a ditch of dirty water, full of miners, working rock or a pan, trying to get a trace of that yellow stuff called gold. The new part of town was made of tar paper shanties and tents. But there were some pretty fair buildings along the main street, and one of these was the Collins Mercantile, a typical Western general store. I went inside to buy me a can of saddle soap, and there was the prettiest gal I ever set my eyes on behind the counter. And I seen something else. A big, red-faced hombre waving his finger right under her nose and talking loud and mad.
Mary Collins, I'm only trying to help you. Can't you see that?
No. You want them to hang Lucius. And you want to run me out of business.
That beau of yours is guilty, and he ought to swing. Well, I'm making an offer for this store. My final offer.
Get out, I said. Morgan Bryce.
Bryce, the lady asked you to leave.
Where'd you come from?
Well, never mind that.
Oh, please, stranger, don't cause any more trouble.
The name is Hawk Larrabee, ma'am. Looks to me like Bryce here's the one that's stirring up trouble, not me.
What's your cut in this deal, Larrabee?
Well, sir, I'm just a fella from Texas that don't like seeing a darn saddle bum yelling at a pretty girl.
Saddle bum? You call me a saddle bum? Well, I've got the biggest store in this town.
Huh. You mean the one in the big tent down the street? So you're the fella that's giving stuff away, Is that how come ain't no customers here in Miss Verity's store?
Of course. How can I compete with his ridiculous prices? But that's not important.
Larrabee, I'm trying to make friends among the miners. Nothing else. Mulberry Creek has a future. I intend being part of that future.
Well, there's one sure thing. You ain't making no friends in here.
I don't intend to.
Please, both of you.
Verity, today's the trial. Now, I could put in a good word for Lucius, but I sure won't feel inclined to now.
But he isn't guilty.
No? Well, I'll tell you what I'm beginning to suspect, Miss Verity Collins.
What?
Maybe you and that Lucius Budlong was both in on killing your Uncle Fred.
That's a lie. How can you say that?
Fred Collins didn't want you marrying Lucius. Him and Lucius quarreled. So the Perrier figured to get him out of the way. Then you'd both have the store.
I don't want this store, and Lucius doesn't want it. He's a lawyer, not a clerk.
Lawyer? What lawing did he ever do?
Well, he hasn't had a chance in this town, that's all.
Well, you had your chance. But now I'm going to see that everybody hears my opinion of this killing.
You wouldn't.
Or wouldn't I?
Bryce, you know something? I've been mighty darn patient for you. But now you're going out that door, walking or flying, just suit yourself.
Well, you can't talk like that.
My rear. Don't never make a mistake of pulling that Pee-wee 41 on me again. I'm toting a 45 like most everybody else, and it'll put a hole in you big enough for your head.
Why, you...
I'll just unload this pistol of yours. There. Now I don't reckon you shoot me in the back. Get to moving, Bryce.
I'll see you later, Hawk Larrabee.
I'm afraid you've made a dangerous enemy.
Oh, don't pay no attention to him. Lots of folks don't like me. How long has he been in town, anyhow?
About a month. Right after the strike.
He sure does aim to take over his store.
Bryce tried to buy out my Uncle Fred.
He wouldn't sell, is that it?
My Uncle Fred only cared for one thing in life. This store.
And he winds up dead.
Yes. Everybody in town thinks Lucius did it.
Well, if him and your uncle quarreled like Bryce said...
Lucius couldn't do such a thing. Uncle said some nasty things to him, yes, but even so, Lucius wouldn't wait till I was upstairs in my room, then knock on the door and shoot Uncle when he came to see who was there.
Oh, that's how it was, huh? Well, when did it happen?
Last week.
And the trial is today?
Yeah. And they'll hang him. I've been trying to help, but no one will listen to me.
Well, folks around here don't like your Lucius, huh?
No.
Well, why?
I don't know. Because he's different from them, I guess.
Because he's got his nose in a law book most of the time?
Yeah, that's partly it.
Well, I come in for a can of saddle soap.
Should have got it at Bryce's. He's selling it for a quarter. Our price is $3.
$3?
Well, since the gold strike, our freighting costs have gone up 10 times, and even then there is little profit.
Yeah, I understand.
Here's your saddle soap, Mr. Larrabee.
Larrabee? It's Hawk to my friend.
All right, Hawk.
Well, adios, Miss Verdon.
Oh, goodbye.
Oh, by the way.
Yes?
Whereabouts they got Lucius pinned up at?
At the jail, 2 blocks down. You can't miss it.
I don't reckon I will.
Good luck. Oh, please have good luck.
That's what comes of being fiddle-footed. You're always bumping into trouble. But I guess I'm kind of soft when there's a gal as pretty as that Verity Collins around. It could be that her Lucius did murder Uncle Fred Collins, but it wouldn't hurt none to see the number anyhow. The jail office is closed, but I heard somebody hammering and sawing in the lot out back. A minute later, I was introducing myself to a gent by the name of Somber Jones, the town marshal. Well, after we shook hands, I asked him what he was building.
Why, that's a new scaffold.
Oh. You mean there's going to be a hanging?
Reckon so.
Lucius?
Yep. He'd been better off if he'd never been born.
Oh, yeah.
Why, I reckon the whole world would be better off if no humans was on it. Animals don't kill unless they're hungry, but us humans, we go around shooting folks. You take Lucius.
Oh, you're just a town marshal, Somber Jones. You ain't no jury.
Never claimed to be.
You figured Lucius is guilty?
I ain't said so, Larrabee.
Then what you building this scaffold for?
Scaffold's gonna be permanent this time. Mulberry Creek is booming, and we'll be needing it regular.
I'm asking you again. Do you figure Lucius is guilty?
I'm marshal of this sinful town. Ain't my place to say.
Well, I reckon that's my answer. You don't think Lucius killed Fred Collins at all, do you?
Even so. You ain't gonna talk me into turning him loose.
Suppose a mob tries to bust into the jail.
Well, I got me a sawed-off shotgun to take care of that. If anybody tries it.
And this trial is just going to be a formality then.
Never said it wasn't.
Any 12 men in this town will vote him guilty without taking time to blow their suds off with a darn beer.
Sometimes sure is trying. This job of upholding the dignity of the law. Verity ought to marry Lucius and live happily ever after. Like they do in books.
Uh-huh. Well, then, why don't we see that she does?
Oh, no. That ain't in the cards. That ox-brain uncle of hers was again it. He got killed. Shows it wasn't meant to happen. Them getting married, I mean.
What time is the trial?
After sundown. Boys won't leave the diggings till dark. They want to be in on the fun.
Fun? Hanging a man is fun?
Well, that's their idea, not mine.
And you're going to let him string up a man that might be innocent?
Maybe he ain't innocent.
You practically said he was.
Well, doggone it, I never have thought he put a bullet in Fred Collins.
Well, then who did?
Ken Subby. Collins was an ornery old buzzard. Treated Verity pretty bad. Lots of folks would have been glad to shoot him.
Well, why'd the town so sure Lucius done it then?
He says he was studying them law books in his shack out at the edge of town when Collins was shot.
But he can't prove it, huh?
No, he can't.
And folks around here don't exactly hanker for Lucius.
Well, he's kind of odd-like. Folks thought Verity'd marry some handsome gent, cowman.
Well, what's the matter with Lucius?
Nothing, except he's got brains.
And brains ain't popular in Mulberry.
Ain't that so much, but he's a little runt and skinny like he'd bust in two in a high wind.
A lawyer ought to be able to get business in a town like Mulberry Creek.
Well, folks won't give him a chance.
No, they want to put a rope around his neck instead.
You're making me feel almighty uncomfortable. After all, I only carry out the law.
From the way it looks, a feller can get justice about anywhere but Mulberry Creek. I got a good notion.
Forget it. As town marshal, I can make any man in this town give up his gun.
Why, they ain't nobody. Nobody at all big enough to take my gun.
Well, now, don't look at me that way. I never said you was the one I was thinking about.
Well, you come pretty darn close.
I'm just giving you some advice, son. I like you. But I'll shoot the buttons off in your shirt if you try any shenanigans with me. Remember that.
Well, I reckon we understand each other, Somber Jones.
Reckon we do, Larrabee.
Well, I come over here to see Lucius. How about it?
I won't trust you inside the jail, Hawk. But there's his cell window yonder.
Well, then that'll have to do.
And don't try slipping him a hacksaw blade and a bar of soap.
Well, I might give him a blade, but why the soap?
Rubbing soap on a hacksaw blade deadens the sound.
How you know that?
I've sawed my way out a time or two. But it led to nothing but misery. And I'm seeing that it ain't gonna happen here. Not while I'm town marshal.
I seen I wasn't gonna get no place with Somber Jones. I walked over to the jail, looked through the barred window and seen Lucius sitting on the edge of a bunk, staring calmly up at me out of a pair of steel-rimmed spectacles.
Hello.
Howdy. I'm Hawk Larrabee.
I'm, Lucius Budlong.
Yeah, I know.
You wanted to see me?
How in thunder can you just sit there so darn calm and collected?
If one allows oneself to become upset, well, one can't think clearly.
Yourself, myself, oneself. Don't go pulling that fancy talk on me, son. Can't you hear them hammers and them saws out back?
I've grown accustomed to the sound by now.
You know what it means?
Of course, they're building a gallows to hang me. I'll have to admit I'm upset, though I try not to show it.
You get upset, all right, when you're standing over the trap.
I doubt if that will happen. You see, I'm a lawyer.
Oh, you're going to need more than law to get you out of this mess, Lucius.
I'm innocent, Larrabee. I have faith in our courts.
Well, so have I, usually. But this is Mulberry Creek. The boys is pouring into town from all points of the compass. They're after gold, and they ain't particular about seeing that you get a square deal.
I'll tell the truth at the trial. You see, I was in my cabin at the edge of town when Fred Collins was murdered.
That's what I heard. But, if you didn't kill him, then who did?
Well, it was someone who knew Fred Collins. Someone who knew him well enough to get him to open his door at night.
Mm-hmm. Well, how about Morgan Bryce? He sure is bent on putting a rope around your neck.
Well, that's just a simple matter of jealousy.
Oh, he don't like it because Verity's in love with you.
Well, he asked her to marry him.
Mm-hmm. If Bryce heard about the fight you and Fred Collins had over Verity, why, then he could shoot the old man and have a good excuse to frame you.
I do know that Bryce wanted the store.
And the old man refused to sell it to him. Well, that gives Bryce a double-barrel reason for getting rid of it.
Lots of people would like the store. There's a lot of fine stock of merchandise. Now, if I can only just bring all this out of the trial...
Lucius, you ain't got none too much time. They'll be trying you right after sundown. And if you ain't swinging a half hour later, then my name ain't Hawk Larrabee.
You're about as mournful as Somber Jones.
Oh, I hope I don't never get that mournful.
Just a mournful world, Hawk Larrabee.
But, Somber Jones, what you doing sneaking up like that?
Just thought I'd better come over and see if you'd pulled out any window bars or chewed a hole in the wall.
Well, I ain't, but I sure do feel like it.
It's sure funny how a pretty gal like Verity can get a man so all-fired worked up that he'll defy law and order to help her out.
There ain't nobody defied no law and order.
Well,
Not yet. Lucius, keep your chin up.
Thanks, Hawk Larrabee.
In spite of Somber Jones, the world ain't such a bad place.
I'll see you at the trial.
Come on, Somber.
What you got under your hat? Ideas?
Maybe.
I know what you're thinking.
Do you?
You're wondering how Verity can fall in love with a fella like that there Lucius.
If she likes him, that's good enough for me.
Oh, now, don't take off my poor old gray head. I don't hold with romancing myself.
Well, never mind romance. If we don't start to using the spurs, that kid's going to get strung up.
You say we, including me in your plans?
Yeah. You was probably born with your back bowed to the world, but maybe you're honest.
Reasonable so, I guess.
I got me an idea.
Yeah.
Is there any chance of getting one of them slugs that killed Fred Collins?
Probably they was buried with him.
The doc might have one.
He might at that.
Wouldn't be no harm in seeing it.
Well, sure, if you'll ease up on the reins and tell me why you want that bullet.
Oh, just the idea. It's been buzzing around in my head.
Hawk, you sound like you've been chewing local weed.
I know what I'm doing. This has got to work. Now, how about it?
Well, I'll do my part as long as it's legal. I'm still wearing a badge, you know.
Yeah. And Somber.
Yeah?
Spread it around town that you looking for the slug that killed the old man.
Yeah.
Act kind of mysterious about it.
Hawk, I'm taking a chance trusting you, you know.
I got me a hunch Verity and Lucius is going to get married. On schedule, if I'm lucky.
Doggone. You almost make me feel chip.
Well, you'll get over that before the night's through.
I hope so. Sure give my principles. Hasta la vista, Hawk Larrabee.
It got dark early in Mulberry Creek, and when the sun went down, I was just going into Morgan Bryce's tent where he had his store at. A big kerosene lamp hanging from a ridgepole had just been lit. I was looking around when a clerk come up to me and says,
"Howdy, stranger. We got picks, shovels, grub, anything you need for mining."
What brand of shovels you got?
Acme, the best.
Oh, I don't know. I like the Regent. Maybe better.
Well, we ain't got Regent.
I heard they carry 'em at the Collins Mercantile.
You don't want to trade there, stranger.
Well, why don't I?
Well, prices are high.
How come they ain't high here?
Mr. Bryce is aiming to give folks a good start.
Good start.
Yeah, he believes you'll be buying from him a long time.
And then he'll raise prices?
Well, sure, naturally.
Yeah. As soon as he runs Verity Collins out of business and ain't no more competition.
What gives you that idea?
Oh, just something that I heard. I'm a stranger here myself.
And you better watch what you go saying about Morgan Bryce. He's kingpin around here.
Oh, well, I sure don't aim to slander no kingpin.
Now, what about selling you a shovel?
Tomorrow, maybe. I want to get on over and see him string up that Lucius fella.
I'll be there, too, stranger.
I guess there ain't much chance of finding him not guilty, is there? Nope. I heard the town marshal was snooping around looking for a bullet or something.
Yep, that's what they tell me. Won't do him no good, though.
Well, he must figure that there bullet's mighty important. Maybe he can find out who done the killing.
Somber Jones had better save his time. We're taking care of that Lucius with or without a trial. He killed Fred Collins, and everybody knows it.
Yeah. Well, I got to be moving along.
Don't forget that shovel tomorrow.
It began to look like my little scheme had blowed up right in my face. There wasn't going to be time enough to work out all the details because Lucius was due for a hanging any way you looked at him. Well, I was just heading for the door when I seen Morgan Bryce blocking my way and looking as mad as a bronco wearing his first saddle.
Hold it, Larrabee.
What you want, Bryce?
I heard you've been stirring up Somber Jones.
What give you that idea?
Adding 2 and 2.
And, what kind of an answer did you get?
It adds up to you getting out of town. Pronto.
And, if I don't figure I want to go?
Then you might stay here, permanently, in a pine box.
That's mighty big talk from a gent who just got his wrist slapped a while ago for pulling a gun.
You were lucky that time, Larrabee. Gun sight caught in my holster when I drew. Otherwise, you'd be dead.
That's right. Well, I ain't dead. I'm pretty much alive.
I'm just telling you once. Drift, hit the trail.
Bryce, that hombre was making talk about you.
Well, what'd he say, Joe?
He said you was trying to run Verity Collins out of business.
Fellas, let's give this Hawk Larrabee something else to think about.
What do you mean, Bryce?
Boys, let's show Larrabee he can't butt in here at Mulberry Creek. Some of you heat up a barrel of tar and get some chicken feathers. After we take care of the hanging and see it's done proper, we'll start on Larrabee.
I ain't going to wear no tar and feathers for overcoat, Bryce. Not now.
No, now, look out, Bryce, he's got a gun. The light, he shut out the light.
Which way to go?
That way.
Blasted dark, I can't see a thing. Somebody get him!
I got under that tent wall like I was riding the tail of a Texas norther. Before anybody could get a lantern lit, I was heading down the alley where I had my white horse, Blanco, tied to a fence. I piled into the saddle and lit out for the jailhouse. In a minute, I could see Somber Jones standing there in front.
What's the shooting about?
Never mind that, Somber.
Hey, what you doing with that gun?
Inside the jail, quick.
All right. What you aiming to do?
I'm going to take Lucius out of here.
I done my part, and this is how you pay me off. Doc Ramsey did have 2 bullets. Here, look at them.
Yeah, it's just what I figured.
Figured what?
Never mind. Get that cell open.
Keep your britches on. Keep your britches on.
How come you ain't putting up a fuss, Sommer? Ain't I defying the law?
Nope. I done resigned.
Resign?
Yeah. I couldn't let a prisoner escape if I was wearing a badge, could I?
Well, no.
No, so I'm what you call a private citizen now. There's my resignation, all made out and stuck in a pigeonhole of that desk there.
Well, I reckon I was wrong about you.
Come on out, Lucius. You're free.
Free? I'm free? Why, Hawk Larrabee, what does this mean?
It means you getting out of town, son. Pronto.
What about Verity?
She can join you later. Who's that out there, Sommer?
It's Verity.
Hawk, Morgan Bryce has stirred up a lynching mob. They're coming here and they're... Oh, Lucius.
Verity.
They can't take you, Lucius.
I can see him through the window, Hawk. Too late to run for it.
Hawk, give me a gun. This is my fight.
Don't go being a hero now, Lucius. Stay here with Verity. You too, Sommer.
Looks like you've sort of taken over, Hawk.
Yeah, it does, don't it? Now give me that sawed-off shotgun you was bragging about this afternoon.
There you are.
But cover me from the window, Sommer.
I'll be right with him, Hawk.
Good. Well, here goes.
Hawk Larrabee!
That's right, Bryce. That's far enough, boys.
What's the meaning of this?
I got a sawed-off shotgun. And buckshot ain't particular who and where it hits. If any of you boys feel lucky, why, just start to come. Who's first? Here. Take a look at these 2 slugs I'm tossing over, boys. It's light enough from the jail window.
Well, what about them?
Are they from a 45?
It looks like a 41 to me. Where'd you get them at?
Them is the slugs that come out of Fred Collins' body. Doc Ramsey had 'em.
What are you trying to prove, Larrabee?
That you killed Fred Collins, Bryce. You better be careful, Bryce. You're wearing a strange gun tonight. Might slow down your draw.
The man's got a right to own more than one gun, Larrabee.
I reckon so. But you was mighty careful to take off that 41 you was wearing this afternoon when me and you tangled at the Collins store.
No law against shedding a gun?
Maybe you was worried that Somber Jones would find out that Collins was shot with a 41.
I'm not the only man with a 41.
But you may be the only one in town with a 41 who had reason for shooting Collins. What?
That still don't prove nothing.
All right, then. Look at this. Listen to me. I dug up a couple of witnesses.
Witnesses?
Yeah. What? 2 men. Who are they? Boys, you want to hear what they said?
Right.
Sure.
Don't listen to him. It's a trick.
Trick or not, I want to hear what he's got to say.
That's what you do.
All right, Bryce. These 2 witnesses say that when Fred Collins come to the door the night he was killed, just before he was shot, he called out your name.
He did not.
If you wasn't there, how do you know he didn't call out your name?
What about that, Bryce?
Don't believe him, boys.
Hold it, Bryce. Hold it, or I'll let you have both barrels.
Don't shoot, Larrabee.
Get him, boys. We got him, Larrabee, and we're gonna keep him. It's funny how you can bluff a fella sometime. That's the trouble with killing him, man. You can't never be sure somebody didn't see you do it. Well, later, Somber Jones turned to Lucius and said,
I figure now you get all the law and you can take care of here in Mulberry Creek.
And I'm going to let Joe run the store for me. Uncle Fred would have liked that.
Oh, sure. You got to be a lawyer's wife, honey.
Mm-hmm.
I hope that folks here in town will like me.
Why, of course they will. And Lucius, if you ever get the feeling you're kind of runted like, well, just remember this. With a 45 in your hands, you're 6 foot tall, and you're broad enough to spit in the devil's own eye.
Is that right? Huh?
Here, take this gun. You see what I mean?
You know, Huck, I feel taller already.
And someday, Lucius, if me and Hawk ever get into trouble, which I expect we will, I'd sure get you to lawyer for us in court.
It was about midnight when I rode out of Mulberry Creek, but I wasn't by myself. Somber Jones was riding at my side.
Where are we heading, Hawk?
Over San Marcos way.
What's over there?
I just found out that there's a sheep and cattle war brewing.
Mind if I ride along, though we probably both get shot up or lynched?
I'll take a chance.
Hawk, take a look back yonder. You see, you can see the scaffold out behind the jail, looking kind of ghostly in the moonlight.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure glad things turned out like they did with Bryce, I mean.
Well, how's that?
Sure been a blight on my record as Marshal of Mulberry Creek if I had the dang thing built, and then it wasn't used.
Give it up.
He gained more renown as he rode the trail from town to town. Comatai-I, yippee-yippee-I, yippee-I, Comatai-I, yippee-yippee-I. He woke one morning on the western trail, a rope in his hand and a cow by the tail. Comatai-I, yippee-yippee-I, yippee-I, Comatai-I, yippee-yippee-I.
And now Hawk will tell you about next week's story.
Well, looked like I'd picked up a new sidekick. Somber Jones was as mournful a character as I ever saw. And it wasn't long before I figured he had reason to be. Trouble and Somber Jones seemed to go together, just like pork and beans. Well, anyhow, we sure did walk into a pack of trouble when we got down San Marcos way. While we were... But I'll tell you all about that next week, when I come riding your way. Adios.
Until next week, that's the end of the tale of Hawk Larrabee on the Western Trail. Comatai, yippee, 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 comatai, yippee, yippee. He's up in the morning before daylight. Before he sleeps, the moon shines bright. Comatai, yippee, 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 comatai, yippee, yippee.
This is Jack McCoy saying tune in again next week at this very same time when Hawk Larrabee finds himself in the middle of an historic range war. Hawk Larrabee, starring Barton Yarborough, is written by Dean Owen, produced by William N. Robeson, and directed by Richard Sandel. For CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System.
CBS's first attempt at an adult Western. It would be 5 years later when Gunsmoke would come along that whole concept would be fully realized. From 77 years ago, May 22nd, 1947, Barton Yarborough as Hawk Larrabee. Larrabee here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Yarborough would pass away far too young. He was... sad. As television's Dragnet was kicking off, he had shot the second episode before he passed. All right, let's roll on here. Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Tomorrow, This Is Your FBI, Broadway Is My Beat, Counter Spy, The Lives of Harry Lime, and Superman. But right now, we'll head to Pine Ridge, Arkansas in just a moment to see what's going on with Lum and Abner.
Let's make this the year of the well-informed voter, the voter who feels that it pays to devote some time and some effort to get information concerning the background and qualifications of each candidate who says, I want your vote. Let's make this the year of the well-informed voter who knows all the facts when he goes to the polls, who studies the figures and figures to study each promising, backslapping, vote-getting body of each candidate. He'll ask, what are your goals? Let's make this the year of the well-informed voter who knows that his vote is a great legacy, who poses a question for every vote-getter. Will he make America stronger and better? Will he keep the land we love happy and free?
And let's wrap up this Wednesday edition of Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox with an episode of Lum and Abner. You say we don't play enough Lum and Abner. Okay, here you go. 82 years ago, May 22nd, 1942, are there jewels hidden on Squire Skimp's land?
The makers of Alka-Seltzer bring you Lum and Abner. I wonder how many remember the old Eddard saying, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. Well, that makes a lot of sense to me, and it will to you, too, if you'll test out its wisdom in this way. Now, some evening, when you're enjoying a little relaxation with friends, you forget your better judgment and have too good a time. Try drinking a glass of sparkling Alka-Seltzer before you go to bed. Many of you listeners do that very thing and tell us what we already know, that Alka-Seltzer can actually help you avoid much of the distress of the morning after if it's taken the night before. Now, of course, you may want a glass of Alka-Seltzer the next morning, too, so have plenty of it on hand, because it really can make you feel better fast. Keep this in mind. For quick, effective relief in morning after misery, it's Alka-Seltzer you want. You can get it at any drugstore by the package and also by the glass at the soda fountain. And now, let's see what's going on down in Pine Ridge. Well, President Edwards of the Edwards and Edwards Publishing Company has not yet found a manuscript suitable for publication. However, he is still diligently reading through the stories and collections of poems that have been submitted. Abner is more concerned with the problem of raising enough money to pay the bill from the wholesale house. As we look in on the little community today, we find the old fellows In their Jot 'em Down store and library, discussing the matter. Listen.
How much obliged, Miss Bates. Come in again soon as you can. Doggies, look, Lum, Miss Bates paid up that big grocery bill they've owed us for so long.
Yeah, I heard you talking there. Well, Abner, maybe we ain't going to have to worry about money much longer.
Huh?
I think maybe I've run into something great here.
What is it? Somebody send in a good manuscript, one you can publish and sell for a lot of money?
Yeah, it does have something to do with the manuscript, but it ain't exactly from selling the book that I'm aiming on making the money, though.
Well, how else can you make money aside from selling it?
Here, let me read this letter, and then you'll see. It comes from a feller named O.W. Trafford, Jr.
Huh?
You recollect anybody by that name?
Trafford? No, I don't believe I do. I know a Milford Spears.
No, this is Trafford. Says his grandpa used to live in Pine Ridge.
Oh, well, I'm sorry. I never knowed him. Grandpa Masters might recollect him. You want me to call him up and see?
No, it ain't that important. Just listen to this letter. It's addressed to the Eddards and Eddards Publishing Company and says, Dear Mr. Eddards, I have long had a story in my possession which I feel is worthy of publication.
That feller's name couldn't have been Hartford, could it, Lum? I used to know a Jess Hartford.
No, it's Trafford. Now, be quiet.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because this is a true story based on actual incidents that took place in your hometown, Pine Ridge, I thought you might be interested in publishing it.
For the land sakes, taking place right here, huh?
Yes, sir, right here in Pine Ridge.
Well.
At the time of the story, my grandparents were living in a large house which they built and which was later sold to a family named Hurley.
Hurley? Why, sure, I know where the old Hurley place is. Or where it used to be, just a hole in the ground there now. It burned down a long time ago, Lum.
Yeah, that's the place, all right. But listen to this. Briefly, the story deals with my grandparents' hurried but heroic escape from this house during the early days of the Civil War, telling how they outwitted the soldiers and buried several $1,000s worth of jewels and silver pieces in an abandoned well in the backyard.
Well, I do know. Well, did they go back and get all that stuff after the war was over?
No, he says a long time after that his papa went back once, but the backyard had all been plowed up and he couldn't find no trace of the old well.
He couldn't?
No, sir. At least not according to the letter.
Hi, doggies, Lum, then all them jewels and stuff must still be over there.
Why, sure. Didn't I tell you this was a great thing?
Oh, well, where's the shovel? Let's get started digging.
Well, wait, Abner. We can't go digging around on somebody else's property.
Well, the Hurleys don't even live in town no more, Lum. They moved to Illinois, I believe it was, right after that house burned down.
Yeah, but before they left, they sold the property there.
Oh.
Don't you recollect? Ezra Seastrunk bought it a long time ago.
Ezra?
Yeah, he was aiming on rebuilding the place, but never got around to it.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, I forgot about that. Well, Ezra won't care if we dig there. I'll ask him myself.
No, don't do that now. We'll have to tell him what we're digging for, and then he'd claim all of it because it's on his property.
Oh, yeah, he would, wouldn't he?
No, the thing to do is to buy it from him if we can.
Buy it? Well,
yeah.
Would that be right, Lum?
Well, we can give him half of it when we get it dug up or something.
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea. Buy half interest from him, yeah.
It oughtn't to cost much.
No.
Run down like it is. And it's in a bad part of town now, too.
Oh, nobody lives over there.
Just give Ezra a ring and see how much he wants for it.
Yeah, that's a thing to do. Let me see that letter there once, Lum. Doggy, this sounds too good to be true, you know?
Here, take it and read it.
Jules Bird, doggy. Let's see here. At the time of the story, my grandparents... Say, Lum, what does this feller print all the letter T's there up higher than the other letters there? Look here how this is wrote.
Huh, I never noticed that.
Yeah, look there.
More than likely there's something wrong with these typewriters all.
Yeah, about what it is. Every T is up higher than the rest of the letters.
Wait a minute. Hello? Who is this, Ezra? Well, this is Lum Eddards.
Doggy, Jules.
Oh, Talbot. Say, listen, Ezra, what would you want for that old worthless piece of property you own?
I dig that place.
No, I mean the old Hurley place.
Like a mole.
Oh, you did, huh? I see. Well, that's all I want to know. Just curiosity more than anything else, I reckon. Yeah, all right, Ezra. Sorry I troubled you. Goodbye. Yeah, that ain't so good.
What's the matter? Won't he sell it?
He don't own it.
Huh?
About 6 or 7 years ago, he sold it to Squire Skimp.
To Squire?
Yeah, of all people. That means the price will be just about twice as much as I figured it ought to be.
Yeah, well, we don't care how much we have to pay for it, do we? Might be $1 million worth of jewels there for all we know, Lum.
Yeah, that's right.
Why, sure, Ted.
Of course, the lower the price, the more profits we make out of it.
All right, doggies, wait a minute, though. I just happened to think of something, Lum. We ain't got no money to buy nothing with. Can't even pay that bill from a wholesale house.
Yeah, that's right. Well, we can sign a note for it or something like that.
Can.
Don't worry, I can figure that part of it out some way.
All right, doggies, I can't hardly wait to get a shovel in my hand and get over there. Oh, look out there, Lum. Look who's coming. This must be our lucky day.
For goodness sake, well, I do know. Squire Skimp.
Is he still mad at us for selling that no-good apartment house plan for $50?
No, I don't think so. I've saw him several times since then. He don't never mention it.
He don't, huh?
But for goodness sake, now, don't you mention what we want that property for.
Oh, no, I won't say a word about it.
This'll give us a chance to get even with that guy once and for all.
Yeah. Mind out there.
We never would get it from him if he knowed about them jewels and silver things buried.
Be quiet.
Well, howdy, Squire. Come on back.
Yes, gentlemen.
Mighty proud to see you, Squire.
Thank you, Lum.
You been out doing some business? I see you got your briefcase with you.
Oh, yes. I had a few little matters of business to attend to. Yes, Lum.
Squire, I understand you own that old rundown Hurley property.
Hurley property?
Yeah.
No, I don't believe I do. Well, now, wait a minute. Yes. I guess I do own that. Why, yes, I believe that's the place that I bought from Ezra Seastrunk about 6 or 7 years ago. Why, I'll never know, though.
What would you sell it for, Squire?
Oh, I don't know, Lum. $400 or $500, I guess.
$400 or $500?
Yes.
Granny's, it ain't worth that much.
Well, no, to be frank, Lum, it isn't, but I'd like to try to get that price. However, just between us, I could be easily talked down to about $250, I think.
You could, huh?
Yes, that property's in pretty bad condition, Lum.
All right, Squire, you just made yourself a deal, then.
A deal? With you, Lum?
Yes, sir. You'll sell it to us, won't you?
Why, yes, I'll be glad to sell it to you, Lum, but what in the world do you fellas want with a place like that?
Oh, we just wanted to...
We're going to put up a lemonade stand.
A lemonade stand? Well, that isn't any location for a stand, Abner. Nobody ever goes near that place. That road is hardly ever used over there anymore.
Yeah, well, we figured we wouldn't have no competition over there that-a-way.
Well, I don't know, Abner. I don't believe I'd advise such a business venture as that.
Well, that ain't the only reason we want it, Squire. You see, I'm sort of figuring on building myself a place sometime, I think, when I get enough money saved up.
Oh, well, now, Lum, you can find yourself a better place to build than over there. Why, I can show you one of the best places in this whole town to build a house, Lum. I have one beautiful lot overlooking picturesque Pine Ridge, a tree-covered paradise that I'll say to you, Lum.
Wait a minute, Squire. No need of you wasting that sales talk on me, 'cause my mind's made up. I want to buy that other place or none at all.
Well, if that's what you want, well, all right, Lum, but I still think that you could do a lot better.
I'm satisfied.
Well, let's see. By the way, I have some deeds here to several pieces of property I own right here in this briefcase. Let me take a look here. That might be in here with these others.
Of course, there's one thing, Squire. We ain't got the cash right now.
Oh, tut. Don't worry about that, Lum. You can sign a note. Let's see, now, I've got some, here's these deeds here. Yes, look at here. By George, we're in luck, gentlemen. Here's a deed to that very piece of property right here.
If you just make out the note, Squire, we're all set.
Well, let's see. I did have some blank notes here, too. Yes, here's one. Now, my fountain pen.
There it is in your pocket.
Yes, thank you, Lum, thank you. Let's see. I promised to pay M.K. Skimp the sum of... how much did we agree on, Lum? What'd I say I'd take?
$250, you said.
Oh, yes, that's what I said. Forgot myself. You see, now, 6% of that, 6 times all sold, 6 times 5, 30, 6 times 2 is 12. $123 in it. Make $373 altogether. Now, right here, sign right here now, Lum. Right there, put your name there.
L. Edder.
Yes.
Here, Abner. Sign right under my name.
Yeah. Abner Peabody.
Yeah. There you are, Squire.
Well, here's a deed to your property, Lum. I still think you're making a mistake, but maybe you know what you're doing. Well, I've got to get back to the place. A lot of business these days. I'll see you gentlemen soon, I trust. A good day, man.
Yeah, good day, Squire.
No, I almost laughed right in his face. Didn't you hear him? Said maybe we knowed what we was doing.
Is he going to kick himself when he finds out what we actually are going to do with it?
Yeah.
Let me see that deed, Abner.
Yeah, wait a minute. Look here, Lum.
Huh?
Did Squire do the typing on the deed here?
I don't know. I reckon he did. Why?
Well, look here. All the T's, them letter T's, they're up higher than the rest of the letters, just like in that letter from Mr. Trafford there. Look here.
Huh? Why, that snake in the weed.
You know, folks, in these busier times, nerves, energy, and digestion play an important part in getting that job done. And listen, everyone, an adequate amount of B vitamins plays an important part where nerves, energy, and digestion are concerned. Now, the vitamins of the B complex are of such nature that the body cannot store them for any length of time, and that's why you should start getting your B vitamins the easy, pleasant, economical one-a-day way. One-a-day brand vitamin B complex tablets have been developed by the makers of Alka-Seltzer, and they're a new and improved way to get the daily amounts of the B complex vitamins whose daily requirements have been established. For the amazing thing about them is, you take only one tablet once a day, and the job's done. Take just one tablet of one-a-day vitamin B complex, and then you can forget about it. No fooling around with 3 or 4 tablets or capsules or spoonfuls, just one tablet, and that's all. Think of the convenience. Think of the economy of taking only one tablet a day. And then be sure to ask your druggist for one-a-day brand vitamin B complex tablets right away. Now, another great one-a-day product is one-a-day brand vitamin A and D tablets. So don't forget to ask for these vitamin A and D tablets, too. Now, that name, remember, is one-a-day. And say, just to be sure, look for that big one. You'll find it on the package.
Looks like Squire did it again from 82 years ago, May 22nd, 1942. Lum and Abner here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Tomorrow, This Is Your FBI, Broadway is My Beat starring Larry Thor, Don McLaughlin and Mandel Kramer in Counter Spy, The Lives of Harry Lime starring Orson Welles, and another episode of Superman. We'll see you tomorrow for more Classic Radio Theater. I'm Wyatt Cox.